Overwhelm is the enemy of progress. Many of you don't realize how important this is to your business. This is just as important as, say, a strategy or a tactic that will help you make thousands more in your business. This is also hindering your revenue. Trust me. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. I am your host, LL. Glad to be back with you guys, hanging out, talking about Etsy business, entrepreneurship, all those good things. And today I have a really good episode for you guys. This episode is not it doesn't have all the shiny bells and whistles, but the foundational elements of what I'm going to talk about in this episode will absolutely be groundbreaking, rather, not ground changing, for your business because it's going to give you the tools to move things forward faster and be more strategic. I am talking about the nasty overwhelm that creeps in your business. Everyone has to deal with it at different times or another in different extremes than one another, but it always creeps in sooner or later. So I want to give you three awesome steps to fight against it and more importantly, help drive growth in your business because when you're less overwhelmed, you can focus more on the things that really matter and really move your business forward in a big way. But before we get started, I have something for you. My goal framework is here. If you haven't downloaded already with a new year, it's always good to start with goals. And honestly, this episode, some of the things I talk about in um, the goal setting framework is in this episode. So it kind of pairs together nicely. So you can get the exact process to follow that will help you set and crush your goals in your handmade and Etsy business this year. Includes work through steps, worksheets, and examples. You get that at handmadeandbeyond.com/goals. So I revised that for this year, redid it. It's fresh and new just for you guys. So make sure you guys download that. All right. So in order to fight overwhelm, we first need to kind of take a step back and we need to understand what causes it. So let's put our psychology hats on for a second. What causes overwhelm? And it can be different for a lot of people, but there's usually main causes for everybody. This could be lack of organization, too many tasks, uncertainty, things that are not going to plan, which usually happens in business and entrepreneurship. Nothing usually goes to plan. Outside factors, outside family factors, everyone has something going on. My favorite quote is everyone's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So this is why it's important, I think, to give people a little bit of grace, but there's always outside factors, outside battles that people are fighting that is going to cause overwhelm. When I first left, quote unquote, retired from my corporate job in 2018 to do Etsy full time, my biggest problem was overwhelm. Why? Well, because of what I mentioned above. I didn't know, it was freeing, right? I was finally free. I didn't have anyone telling me what to do. I had no responsibilities in the corporate world anymore. I only had my own responsibilities to fulfill. But I found myself a little lost. I didn't know what to do and when to do it. I knew I had a ton of things to do. I always felt like I had a lot on my plate. And I felt like I was not organized. There was uncertainty in my business because I didn't know if things were going to take a turn overnight and not go well, if I could impact that or not impact that. So there was just a lot going on. And what I realized was when I was working for someone else, everything was scheduled, right? I knew my schedule, some of the stuff, I was higher level position, so I had a lot more freedom than my employees did, but I still had a schedule. I had to report to, my boss, the CEO, the CFO. I had meetings that I had to attend. I had to schedule my own meetings. I had employee meetings, so my schedule filled up quickly. My schedule was booked out for usually 1 to 2 weeks every single week. So I knew what I was doing. I always knew it. So there was really no uncertainty out there as far as what I knew I needed to do, my responsibilities, what I needed to impact and focus on. So when I left and started doing my own thing, I struggled for a while because I knew I had a lot to do. I knew my tasks and responsibilities. I knew what I needed to do in my business, but I didn't know exactly when to do them, how often to do them. I didn't have an organizational system. So I struggled for a while before I started doing the three things that I'm actually going to share with you below. And these may seem obvious and like no brainers, but I can guarantee you 99% of you are not doing them. But once you do, you will realize how powerful this technique is because it works and it alleviates so much stress and overwhelm. It's not even funny. So I call this the workflow accelerator loop. Sounds pretty cool, right? Came up with that all on my own. So here is what the kind of the accelerator loop covers, and I'm going to go into the 3 steps so that you guys can start to implement these inside your business right away. And this is good if you're doing Etsy full time, or you're doing your business part time, you're just getting started. It doesn't matter. I almost said that like The Rock. It doesn't matter. So you can do this at any point in time, and this can help you with your actual business too. This can help you in your personal life. There's many facets, many different ways to implement this stuff. The first step is figure out how much time you have. One of the reasons, again, that causes overwhelm is we don't know how much time, especially if you're working another job, to dedicate to our business. We feel like we have no time. And as it turns out, you do have time. Everyone has extra time. It just seems like we have no time because we have a lot of responsibilities. We have a lot of things to take care of. And it just doesn't seem like there's enough hours in the day. But I can guarantee you, you have some extra time to dedicate to your business if you sit down and write out your schedule. Print out a weekly calendar and write out the things that you have to do. Your things that you're committed to, whether it's taking your kids to soccer practice or it's obviously your 9 to 5, your commute, family time. Those things are things that you have to do. But outside of that, there's a lot of things we do that we don't have to do. We don't have to watch TV for 2 hours. Um, we don't have to play on our phone for a half hour. So there's a lot of things in there that you can dedicate and twist to working for you, to working for your business. And if you don't have a full-time job, you do Etsy part-time or full-time or on the side, you've a lot more flexibility there with your time and what you can set aside to dedicate to your business. For me, I dedicated, my lunch times for years to my business, to my Etsy business. I would take my computer to work. I would go to a coffee shop right next door, and I would do work on my lunch break. I would bring my lunch, grab and go, and that's an hour. By the time I got there and got back, I would need like 10 minutes. So 50 minutes for 5 days a week. That's a lot of time to spend on your business. Some days I would work before work. Some days I would work after work, cut out the TV time. And that's how I grew my business. But that's the time that I set aside to work on my business that I knew that I had available to work on my business. So that is step one. Figure out how much time you have for your business specifically so that you can do what's necessary to do. Step number 2 is schedule out your week. So according to your goals, where you're at in your journey, a lot of you are at different places in your journey. If you're just getting started, you've been doing this for a while, you've been doing it for a while, you really want to grow, schedule your week out as far as the things that you have to do in your business. And these are going to be a little bit more broad, a little bit less specific, but schedule out the things that you have to do for your business. For example, in my business, I do graphic shirts, I do screen printing. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, according to my processing times, I fulfill orders. I do the screen printing, I package the orders, and I take them to the post office Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The amount of orders changes from time, but I know every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that is built in. That's baked in. Those are the things that I'm doing every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I may be working on SEO, I may be working on new listings, I may be working on product research. So those are baked in as well. So that's what you need to do according to how much time you have available and what you have to do in your business to move it forward. Whether these are tasks that are just kind of maintenance tasks, or these are tasks to grow your business, such as new listings, SEO research, product research, things like that will move your business forward. So you're doing maintenance level tasks that are just keeping things running, and then you're doing growth level tasks that are focused on expanding and growing and improving and all those things. And you're going to fit those in to your week on specific days. And those are the things that are, generally speaking, not going to change from week to week. Can you tweak them? Of course, it's your business. You can do whatever you want. But for the most part, it's going to stay relatively the same. So this is going to ease your mind a little bit because all right, these are the things that are on the docket for the day that I have to work on. Step 3 is where this really gets powerful. And this is really where you can take things to the next level. Once you have your weekly schedule set, then you are going to schedule your tasks for that day the night before. And you're going to dive in deeper and be more specific than your weekly schedule. And this is, again, truly powerful because you're going to schedule your exact tasks that you have to do for the next day. You're planning it the day before. So you're waking up knowing exactly what you have to do and what you have to accomplish. Not to mention your brain will love you checking off the tasks. And I do it on my iPhone, where I can just put like a little check mark beside each task. And it's awesome because a lot of times I'm way more productive and I have extra time and I do extra tasks, which is great. But I have the main tasks that I need to do to move my business forward. And this is where you're going to get a little bit more specific. So for instance, say on one of your days is adding new listings. So the night before I'm going to put that on the schedule, and I'm not just going to say add new listings. I'm going to say add 3 new whatever listings, add a new product line of 5 listings or something like that. It's going to be more specific so I know, did I do it or didn't I do it the next day? If you're broad and in your tasks, you're not going to know if you did it or not. Chances are you're not going to do it. So be specific in your task list. And these are things that are going to be in addition to your weekly maintenance and growth items, some things that you have to do that are kind of outside of that for your business. Maybe it's set up a new social media channel, or maybe it's schedule 3 social media posts, or maybe it's retake 5 listing photos. So this is where you're going to get very specific according to your goals and what you need to do ultimately with your business. And this is going to tie in, again, if you do that, the Etsy goal framework that I scheduled with you or that I shared with you earlier, that you download, it can roll up into that because you're going to have your main goals, your weekly schedule, and your daily tasks are going to play into impacting and affecting your main goals. And that's where this truly gets powerful. So it seems simple enough, but what you're doing is building a habit. Once you have that weekly schedule, you're building the habit of setting your daily tasks the night before. What I do to make it a little bit easier is I have to-do lists, and I start my to-do list like today. I've already started my to-do list for tomorrow. I'm not sitting down tonight at 8 p.m. and doing my to-do list for tomorrow because chances are you're going to be tired. You're going to I don't know what I have to do. Do it throughout the day according to how your day's going, what you're getting accomplished today. Start setting that to-do list, and before you know it, it's going to be done before the end of the day even comes. And again, you're getting ahead of the game, and waking up in the morning, it's going to immediately reduce overwhelm because you're going to know exactly what you have to do for that day, the exact tasks that you have to do. Will things come up and we have to do extra stuff from time to time? Of course. Will you miss some tasks? Of course you will. But if 90% of the time, if you're doing all your tasks that you set and you're setting your tasks the night before, you're going to make huge gains and huge progress in your business. I promise you, if you do this, it will work for your business, and you're going to be surprised and shocked at how much more productive you are. But again, less stress, less overwhelm, because you know exactly what you have to do. There's no uncertainty. I feel like I'm saying uncertainty, like uncertainty wrong. Anyways, less uncertainty, less overwhelm. You're going to know exact stuff that you have to do, and it's going to be a game changer for you. So try it. Start tomorrow. Try it. I promise you it will work for you. And again, if you haven't downloaded and reviewed the goal framework, do it. handmadeandbeyond.com/goals. I'll be back soon with another good episode for you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day.